During our last event, we launched the Revolution display, a beautiful new 4-inch all-display touchscreen, alongside Array, our new modular design language for digital interfaces. And the early feedback has been fantastic. Users are loving the new Array interface, and the first shipments are flying out of the warehouse. So today, we are ready to expand on this even further, with some exciting extensions to the Revolution family. Starting with Array, we're pleased to share the first update, introducing themes. Themes allow you to choose from different accent colors, which are applied across the widgets and icons throughout the user interface. Themes can be chosen during commissioning in System Builder, and today we're adding new silver and slate options alongside the existing gold. We can also share that the team are working hard to bring the Array design language to the PDTS touchscreen. This will come via a future software update, giving you the ability to deliver consistent user interfaces between all of our displays. That's especially helpful when you use the PDTS as a home hub for Matter, for control and connectivity, alongside the Revolution display for room-level controls. Look out for that update later in the year. Moving over to the Revolution hardware then. Revolution, for a long time, has continued to be the best-in-class panel technology, combining a positive tactile button press with full RGB backlighting and sensing for temperature, humidity, ambient light, and user proximity. We knew that we needed to create something really special on the outside to match this technology. And today we have two major updates to share, starting with new finishes. And Daniel has been joined by Jess from our development team to tell us all about them.
Hi, we're joined with Jess from our Sydney engineering team. How are you doing, Jess?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, thanks for asking. So you're part of the Sydney engineering team. What kind of engineering are you involved in?
I'm a mechanical engineer.
Mechanical engineer. And so you're involved in the development of the new finishes for the Revolution range. What was your involvement with that project?
So in this Dynalite project, I am the technical team lead. So coordinating the technical sides of the project deliveries, starting from the concept design all the way to productions. I'm also the development engineers for the product.
Okay, wow. So you're taking on a lot of responsibility for this then. Now, could you walk us through the development requirements? Like, what were you looking to achieve in the result that we have here?
Sure. We started by understanding the customer needs here. In the Antamra series, we found that the customer likes the metal finish, and also in the PDR standard range, we found that the customer likes the customizable backlit. So naturally, we combine them together to form this finish.
Fantastic. So what was some of the development steps that were taken to be able to achieve this result? What were some of the things you experimented with?
So the idea here is to mimic the metal look and also to have the ability to engrave it. So we started by experimenting a few techniques. So first of all, we started by the painting, so metallic painting to get the finish. However, that doesn't really give the real metal look. And then we move on to off-the-shelf metal look-alike finishes. So that gives us a real metal look. However, the yield rate of those are very, very low. Naturally, we ended up with our own customized solutions, which is PVD.
Okay, so basically the requirement was that we needed to be able to capture the finishes that we see within the Antamra range while simultaneously supporting the backlit labelling that we see in the Revolution range, as well as the longevity of the button presses, making it manufacturable. There's quite a long list of different requirements that you have there. And you landed on a process called PVD. What exactly is that?
So PVD is a short form for physical vapor depositions. It's a technique that transfers metals to plastics. So what we are seeing here is that the metal is vaporized into particles and transferred onto plastic in a vacuum chamber.
Oh, wow. So the finish that we're seeing here is the result of a real metal being applied to a plastic surface while retaining a texture surface that you also require too.
The reasons why we pick PVD is that it gives a more stable color, and also it is resistant to wear and tear.
Okay. So to be able to achieve what was required, you've got lots of different layers on the Revolution buttons. Can you step us through some of these layers and what they're doing?
Sure. On the surface itself, there is a satin finish. So comparing to our standard range black and white, these are a satin look. So underneath this satin look, there is a linishing that mimics the lineage of a real metal. And underneath the lineage is the PVD and then the light blocking layer.
Okay, so all up to the original Revolution button, we have our mechanical substrate, we have a light diffuser, we have an LED blocker, we then have the PVD coloured layer, a textured layer, a translucent layer, and then the satin finish on the top. So your job was to get all of that technology crammed into a tiny thickness of a button.
That's correct.
Wow, that's amazing. What unreasonable person asked you to do this?
Yes.
That's how I'm going to see at the camera.
I'm sure we could put a sound effect over that. Now, in using the PVD technology, what sort of challenges did you need to overcome?
So the challenge here is try to achieve the color cohesion between all these pieces, between the buttons to the frames, and then obviously to the rim fascia as well.
So we have here today, so this is our gold finish, and you have in your hands the aluminium finish. We're right now just showing this in the Euro style, but we are looking to sort of expand this into the American style format and also capture the other finishes that we enjoy within the Entumbra range. This is a phenomenal result with some amazing technology. Thank you for pioneering the solution. And the truth is really something to behold. And to be honest, I think it's a case where the finish is not fairly captured in photos and videos. It's something that you've really got to see and experience because it changes and dances with you depending about what you look. And what you've done here looks amazing. So thank you, Jess.
Thank you, Dan.
No problem.
Incredible work by Jess and the whole team there. And trust me, these materials look even better in person. We're excited to release these new finishes for both of our form factors, square for European markets and portraits for Australian and North American markets. And we'll be starting with our two most popular colors, silver and a brand new formula of gold, with orders opening next month and shipments following from the end of September. This portfolio of colors will extend further over time, with our intention to support the full set of colors that you've been used to with the Entumbra range. An updated demo box will be available later in the year to showcase these beautiful new finishes, and we'll let you know more details in due course. But that's not all. We have even more to share about Revolution with you today. We've always viewed Revolution as a family with great flexibility, both in terms of how and also where you can use it. So to fulfill that capability, we've created a powerful new offer. And we've made this video to show you what it's all about.
Okay, we're back with Jess, and we're taking a look now at the double and the triple gang Revolution. So going from the familiar single gang Revolution, what have you changed and added to be able to accommodate for the double and triple gang configurations?
So for the single gang, we have maintained all the buttons, the AMKs and the wall plates. So they are actually a common parts between the 2 gang, 3 gangs. The wall plate, the buttons, and the AMKs are the same.
Okay, so people who are familiar with the current Revolution single gang, they're not going to see anything very strange or exotic with these. It is the exact same mechanics underneath that you've repurposed to be able to bring in the double and the triple gang features.
That's correct.
So now we're looking at going from the single to the double triple gang. How is it that the installer is going to be able to space those common mounting brackets? Because you're reusing the same single gang mounting bracket. Does the installer have any sort of tools that they could use to be able to make sure that they've got their installation correct?
We have a 2 alignment jig that can be purchased separately. So this 2 alignment jig would help to install it in the correct patterns. So what it needs to do is to take off the buttons and the MK and then make a hole with the jig and then put them all together.
Okay, so with this jig, the installers are able to go through and set the positions of their mounting boxes, and this will be the correct locations for the wall plates that then will see the double and the triple gang spacing done correctly.
That's correct.
Okay, and this is a jig that is purchased separately. It's not supplied with the units themselves?
Yep, it is different.
Okay. So looking at the triple gang here, I see we've got a button and a display that we all know about, but what's happening here on the left side?
So this part is actually reserved for the Siemens V8 accessory. So we have designed the inserts. We designed this adapter to fit where the buttons is. So to replace the buttons and the V8, they are actually just a V8 adapters.
Okay.
Needed.
So it's very flexible, allowing you to be able to make changes depending about the site requirements and if there are any sort of variables that may show up where the project needs to make some changes on site. So this is ready to go now, and we just have this as a placeholder. So you need to purchase the electrical accessories from Simon, and that will click straight into that.
That's correct.
Okay, great. So I'm looking at the 3 gang here, and we have this set up for, as you said, the button or the V8 combo on both sides, and in the middle we have the display. So could we set this up for a button combination if necessary?
We can have it button. This rim, however, is specifically for the button display button, so it's definitely a different rim.
Okay, so if we need to use a display, it's always in the middle and it is a dedicated rim for a display. But if we're using a button, it is a different rim, but something that's perfectly possible.
That's correct. So the display would sit in the middle for the triple gang,
Yep.
whereas on the double gang itself, the display can be sit either the left or the right side, depending on the rim configurations.
Ah, fantastic. So there's a lot of flexibility depending about the project's application. So if we're looking at, say, a hotel room installation and we need to have panels on the left and the right side of the bed, the project has the opportunity to mount the display closest to the guest if necessary.
That's correct.
Fantastic. Okay. So with the Revolution single gang, we have an environmental sensor that allows us to detect temperature and humidity. Is that still supported in the multi-gang configuration?
Yep, over here we have actually 2 different panels. So on the left side, this is a double gang. The temperature and humidity sensors is always on the bottom left of the panels. So this one is supported, whereas over here, this configuration does not really support it because there's a V8 instance over here, which means that this is for the V8 accessories.
Okay, so to be able to support the environmental sensors, we just need to make sure that there is a Dynalite network device on the far left that has exposure to the temperature sensor aperture.
That's correct.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jess.
Thank you. Cheers.
These are some incredible updates to our Revolution panel families. Jess and Daniel showed us there the beautiful premium new finishes for our European, Australian, and North American ranges. Those will be added alongside the current black and white gloss options, elevating the appearance of Revolution with 2 brand new finish choices. Our new satin finishes, with their hybrid polycarbonate material, will bring a brushed metal effect and a matte finish in a range of color options. And that new material retains all of the engraving flexibility that we're known for, so you can create stunning looking panels with full color backlighting, illuminating your customized text and icons. Then next up, we saw the new multi-gang frame options for our European Revolution range. These allow you to create a single unified frame and fascia for double and triple gang panels that provide a clean and seamless appearance across the front of the panel. Within that, you can mix and match buttons, displays, and electrical accessories, creating the most flexible control interface for all of your services, bringing lighting, climate, drapery, and fans all into one unified panel. From launch, we will offer electrical accessory sleeves for the V8 range of modules from Simon Electric, giving you access to color-matched power, data AV, and USB charging modules. Those V8 modules are available across Asia, Middle East, and Africa. And later this year, we will extend that support for a second range, bringing the same range of modules to the UK and for Europe. And then earlier on, we saw the brand new themes for Revolution Display. These allow you to adjust the color tints across the Array user interface. This will be especially useful when you're using a display within a multi-gang frame, now allowing the on-screen content to match the physical frame and buttons alongside. All combined, these updates make a huge leap forward for Revolution. They bring a beautiful new range of design and finish choices, paired with our existing best-in-class panel technology, full RGB backlighting, embedded proximity, ambient light temperature, and humidity sensors. Customers and designers are going to love using Revolution for commercial, hospitality, and residential spaces. And to help you share the new range of possibilities with your customers and specifiers, we're pleased to launch a new lookbook for our user interface ranges. Head over to dynalite.com/events to download a copy and recap all of the details straight after this event.